Okay, Ravish. So another really brilliant piece of work. It's great to see that you're really committing yourself to this and really working really hard to improve your English. So well done. We know it's not easy, but keep it up because we can really start to see differences now. So that's great. Okay. So, this task was to write a letter to your friend and explain why you resigned from your previous job and to talk about your new work as well. So, let's start to have a look. So, dear John, I'm delighted to inform you that my job application had been accepted a few days ago and I've taken up the new job responsibility as a brand manager. Okay, good. It's a good opening sentence to a letter. And you're clearly following conventions, which is good. The only thing I would say is that in the question, this is write a letter to your friend. And it could be that I'm delighted to inform you is a little bit too formal for this. Obviously, it depends on how long you've known your friend for. However, this is normally something that we would write in very formal letters. So what you might say instead is, I'm really happy to tell you that my job application was accepted a few days ago. Okay, then it just shows that you're aware in the question that they're telling you to write to your friend rather than, say, a manager or a colleague that you don't know so well. Right? So I'm really happy to tell you that my job application was accepted instead of had been, was accepted a few days ago. Because we've got that time reference, we're going to use the past simple here. And I've taken up the new job responsibility as a brand manager. Okay. What you might say here, because it is your job title, in fact, say brand manager, you could say, I now have the new job title or new job of brand manager. Okay, so let's have a look at the next bit. I'm sure you must be wondering why I quit my previous job. However, there were several factors that I had to weigh before coming to the conclusion of submitting my resignation letter to the previous employer. Okay, good. So this is a great way to start your next paragraph. So I'm sure you must be wondering why I quit my previous job. It's really good. Well done. Then this next word, however, doesn't really sit right, because we're not actually contradicting anything here. So I'm sure you must be wondering why I quit my previous job, full stop. And then you could just cut out the however and say there were several factors that I had to weigh up before coming to the conclusion of submitting my resignation letter to my previous employer. Okay. To begin with, internal conflicts amongst peers made room for office politics. Okay. Good. This had a negative impact on the corporate culture of my previous company. Hence, I was unable to focus on my work and started resenting colleagues who manipulated their way to climb up the ladder of success. Okay. This sentence, although it's quite short, is a little bit wordy, so there's a lot of quite formal vocabulary in there. Keep in the back of your mind that you're writing to a friend. Okay, so if we just go back to here, so to begin with, internal conflicts amongst peers made room for office politics. This is very true. It's a good way to describe it, but is there a way we can do it that's less formal? Okay, so we could just say conflicts among colleagues made room for office politics, or made room for arguments, or you could say, for example, made room for disagreements or something. Okay. This had a negative impact on the corporate culture. So you could say, instead of on the corporate culture, you might say this had a negative impact on the atmosphere. Okay, or this made the atmosphere uncomfortable. Okay, of my previous company. Hence, I was unable to focus on my work. Hence, again, is very formal. So instead, we might say so. So I was unable to focus on my work and started resenting colleagues. Resenting colleagues who manipulated their way to climb up the ladder of success. Okay, yeah. Furthermore, it became difficult for me to keep up with projects. Good use of phrasal verb there. difficult for me to keep up with projects that needed my constant attention, which meant working overtime on weekdays, just weekdays, on weekdays, and working from home during the weekends on several occasions. Okay, good. This monotonous ordeal led to me being dissatisfied with my previous job. Yes, monotonous ordeal again is something that is quite formal. We wouldn't really say this to a friend. We might say, for this sentence, we could say all of this resulted in me being unhappy in my job. Okay, so we're just kind of scaling back the register slightly so that we're showing the examiner that we're aware that we're writing to a friend, not to a boss. Okay. So then we get on to what happened next. So at first I was hesitant to switch my job, but after a lot of introspection. Okay, so at first I was hesitant to switch my job, comma, but after a lot of introspection, you could say, but after a lot of thought, I came to the conclusion that I needed to find a job that makes me feel satisfied and has a conducive environment that helps in my professional career. Okay, so I needed to find a job that makes me feel satisfied, okay, and is conducive to my professional career, okay, or we could say instead is conducive to moving forward in my career, okay. Currently, the MNC that I work for has opened a new office in Maryland. Good. I've been offered a better position, along with the strong work ethics and various fringe benefits. I've started to believe that this is the turning point in my career. Okay, good. I've been offered a better position. Yeah, good. Along that part is really good. Along with the strong work ethics and various fringe benefits. Fringe benefits is good. Work ethics is with the strong work ethic. Yep. So what we're saying instead is without the S. So with the strong work ethic of the company, for example, and various benefits, I started to believe that this is the turning point in my career. Okay, I've shifted. Instead of shifted, we want to say I've moved. I've moved from New York City to Maryland to an apartment that has been paid for by the company. Okay, so I've moved from New York City to Maryland to an apartment that has been paid for by the company. Good. Another advantage of taking up this job is that you can visit me over the weekends, as Virginia is just a 1-hour drive from the place where I'm living. Yeah, well done, no problems there at all. I'm ecstatic about starting with a T, that's just a typo, starting a new life in Maryland, and I'm looking forward to seeing. So looking forward to is always followed by ing. So I'm looking forward to going, I'm looking forward to having, I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. Please give my regards to your family. Okay, yours truly. Good. Okay. So I'm ecstatic about starting my new life. Yeah, instead of ecstatic, because it's not really one that we would use quite so freely, I guess, we would say instead, I'm really excited, okay, about starting a new life in Maryland. Okay. But yeah, a really good piece of work. Really well done. Let's have a look at your task 2 then, which was your essay on travelling domestically and internationally. And it was discussing the advantages and disadvantages of travelling. And it was to give reasons for your answer and including relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. Alright then, so recently there has been a cumulative growth in the number of individuals travelling to domestic and international destinations. Okay, good. After recently, there should be a comma there. Okay, so recently, comma. Okay. Whether a person is a thrill seeker or if a person is just seeking spiritual upliftment, there are multiple options to choose from. Okay. So for this one, we should have whether a person is a thrill seeker or just seeking spiritual upliftment. So we don't need to repeat the person part. Okay, so whether a person is a thrill seeker or just seeking spiritual upliftment, instead of upliftment, it could be spiritual fulfillment. Okay, there are multiple options to choose from, full stop. Okay, otherwise we start to get into a rather long sentence. Then we could say this has proven to be beneficial for tourists and economies that depend on tourism. Okay. Yeah, okay, so beneficial for tourists and economies. Good. Okay, the next part, the travel time that is spent on aircrafts, cars and railways. So instead of we just say travel time spent on planes, cars and railways has made lengthy delays that are responsible for passengers rescheduling their appointments or their journeys. Okay, all right, good. However, efficiency in making quick booking through the internet and the accessibility to destinations that were previously inaccessible due to improved infrastructure has made it possible for many enthusiasts to explore new places in shorter durations. Okay, quite a long sentence there. You could probably tell when I was reading it. So let's see how we can break this one down. So, however, efficiency in... Good. So instead of making, we could say efficiency in booking on the internet and the accessibility to destinations that were previously inaccessible. And then take out due to improved infrastructure, because you could always talk about that later, has made it possible for people, instead of enthusiasts, people to explore new places in shorter durations. Okay, so we're just making it that little bit more concise. Alright, so the next paragraph, urbanisation has led many countries to develop public transport systems. Good, so this is where we're starting to talk about the improved infrastructure. So we can take it out of the introduction and put it into the first paragraph. So urbanisation has led many countries to develop public transport systems that can cater to local communities. Good, okay. Although there are a number of options available, so no comma there, so although there are a number of options available, comma, cosmopolitan cities are always overcrowded and heavy traffic caused during rush hour or a road accident has a huge impact on commuters who travel daily to and from, with an M, from, so we've got just a typo there, so to and from their homes to their workplace. Okay, good point, well done. Furthermore, during a crisis situation due to an occurrence of an unmitigated disaster, so we can make this even shorter and say, furthermore, during a disaster, okay, many travellers are stranded and often feel helpless. So, yeah, so during a disaster, so we're cutting out a lot of that sentence, many travellers could be stranded and often feel helpless. Okay, because we're talking hypothetically. For instance, people who are fond of adventure tourism travel abroad in search of new places for outdoor adventures may face natural disasters such as landslides, earthquakes or tsunamis, often leading to serious injuries and, in extreme cases, fatalities. Okay, again, quite a long sentence there. Think about, is there a way that you can make it a little bit shorter? So we could take out some of this kind of extra information. So to say, for instance, people who want an adventure, okay, abroad, we could add in there as well, who want an adventure abroad, may face natural disasters, such as landslides, earthquakes or tsunamis, often leading to serious injuries and, in extreme cases, fatalities. Remembering those commas around in extreme cases. Good. Even though there are several risks involved when travelling to different places, people are still, instead of ecstatic, we would say here enthusiastic. So ENTHUSIASTIC, enthusiastic, about seeing different places. Okay, well done. This is good. So the next paragraph, instead of the, we could say a sense of adventure has led intrepid explorers to get out of their comfort zones, because we're talking about explorers, in order to enjoy what the world has to offer. Good. Travelling has become a very important part of the youth culture. Would we just say youth culture, or would we say culture in general? So travelling has become an important part of culture. Okay. Initially, if an explorer was travelling to several continents, he was termed as he was referred to as a vagabond by the Orthodox Society. So we're going from talking about the past into talking about now. So nowadays, despite commitments and busy schedules, many individuals like to travel to locations that they've never visited before. While there are many reasons for a person who wishes to travel, while there are many reasons to travel, most commonly people prefer travelling for a change of atmosphere. Regardless of travelling solo or in a group, tourists come across... Okay, good. So, whether travelling solo or in a group, tourists come across people from various cultures and are eager to explore old traditions which may be very different from their own roots. Okay, this brings a new perspective to a person's life, with apostrophe in persons, to a person's life, often helping people overcome problems that they were facing back home. Okay, good points there. People travelling in case of medical emergencies are able to be uplifted by helicopters which drop them to helipads right above hospitals. Okay, so be careful with this one, because this is travelling for a completely different reason. So you either need to acknowledge that here and say that you're talking about rare cases, or to leave that part out. Okay. So this has been time efficient and has proven to save many lives. Okay, yep. So, either make that bit a little bit clearer, that it's only in rare cases that this is happening and it is different to kind of domestic or international travelling for tourism, or leave that part out. Okay. Moreover, medical tourism has become very popular, as travelling overseas for seeking medical help has cured many people who are unable to find a cure in their home countries. Good. Now this is a little more appropriate for your essay. It's good to talk about medical tourism, because there's that link between tourism for pleasure and having to travel for something you need medically, but travelling in a sense, travelling as a kind of holiday, but for medical reasons. So that example of helipads and helicopters, so the air ambulance, doesn't quite fit here. So be careful there, because it could compromise the logical nature of your essay. Okay. If we go to the last part, so to conclude, travelling has benefited many people and will benefit future generations of our society. Good. Technological advancements such as supersonic jets and underground hyperloop systems with an S. Okay, so an S on the end of there, will reduce travelling times drastically in the near future. Cheaper and efficient methods may seem to be the way ahead, but the uncertainty of the damage caused by natural disasters may always pose a threat to society. Okay, good. Just in that last example there, instead of a threat to society, you might want to link this back to tourists. So the uncertainty of maybe of the frequency of natural disasters may pose a threat to tourism. Okay, because we're not talking about the whole of society, we're talking about people who travel. Okay, so we always want to link back to that question. But yeah, really good work. What I would say is try to be aware of your sentence length, because sometimes your sentences get a little bit overcomplicated and you lose those really good points that you're coming up with. So Try to keep them a little bit more concise. Okay, and yeah, make sure that your evidence in your essay is relating to the question, but your vocabulary is really good and using some really great structures in there. So really well done. You should be very proud indeed. Good work.